Morning, Oj. Studio 1 today, Gay Hill, sun is shining, episode 98.
Episode 98. Hey, I was coming up here too. You guys got just a ton of snow over here yet.
I hadn't noticed.
I can't believe it. We got grass showing again down at our place, which, not a lot of it, but you are screwed till 4th of July over here.
Do you like driving in the tunnel on my driveway?
God, yeah, and then that. It is something. Hey, speaking of snow, 300 plus inches.
Is that what we're at?
Yeah, we got it. Keweenaw County came out with the totals the other day, and we surpassed 300 inches of snow for the year. So, I mean, that is a dream come true of a goal, isn't it?
I hope you're being sarcastic, because I don't like this smile on your face. If we got 3 inches, that'd be too much.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's been a doozy. What do we got on tap today, Croce?
Well, we're taping this here Sunday morning, and Final Four kicked off last night. 2 great games, and we're down to Houston and Florida. I watched both games, not as close. We had some company in town, so we were watching it while hanging out and stuff. But Florida, Auburn was a great game, and the win by Houston over Duke after that deficit was unreal.
Yeah, it's kind of been a tournament that hasn't had a ton of drama, in some of these games. Just
yeah,
there's obviously been a few, but it's just been one of those where, the last 3 minutes of most of these games, they've been decided already. But not the case last night. It was great. Both games were great. I thought it's hard for either coach to be disappointed in his teams. Auburn had control early of that game against Florida. Just seemed like the more physical team, more athletic team, and but give Florida credit, they can score. They had a variety of guys that contributed and came up with some big shots. They come back and get the win.
Guard played well.
Oh yeah, he's
had a good tournament.
He's damn good. Lefty, right?
I don't think so.
No, not that one. I was thinking different. Yeah, you're right. But that's that Todd Golden. Now he'll be looking for his first national championship.
I'm not a big fan of him.
I know, I could sense that early in the weekend. He mentioned he was going to get out-coached by Bruce Pearl. So there's something about him that rubs you the wrong way. Here we go.
Well played.
and then the second game, it looked for 75% of that game that the more talented team was just going to continue to pull away. Duke just seemed better, Houston was just hanging on for dear life. But they really, every single time it seemed like it got to that point where Duke was going to put them away, somebody would hit a big 3 for them. Cut it from 10 to 7 or 12 to 9 or whatever the hell it was, right? They always seemed to hit some shot that would just keep their fight going a little bit, and then in the end it was just chaos. So I don't know what else to say about that. It was a hell of a game, hell of a comeback by Houston.
Well, we were having this discussion last night with some people. We were talking about rules in basketball and how in high school, sometimes they're making rules for the sake of it, and now eliminating that one-on-one in the high school level, after 5 each quarter. And we were talking about that, how that's such a big part of the game. The 1-on-1 is still a huge part of the game. Would that game been different last night if the guy automatically got 2 instead of the 1-on-1?
On the offensive or the over the back call?
Didn't Duke miss a free throw at the end there?
Oh yeah, you're right.
It was a 1-on-1. Now at the high school level, you automatically get 2, and then.
Right. I was thinking about the call that, the officials blew that. I think that was on Cooper Flag. It was an over the back call.
Okay.
And so he follows on. Yeah, it was Houston missed the free throw. Oh, I'm sorry. Duke missed the free throw. Cooper Flag got called over the back. Right. Houston goes down the other end to shoot. I think it was a tie game at the time, or Houston was down 1, but
something
it was a huge call.
Yep. And
I don't know. I mean, you can say what you want about it. Duke obviously thought the whistle should have been put away and call not made, but it was. And Houston hit the throws, and that was it. So those guys, I'll tell you, they scrap. They keep coming at you defensively. No quitting them. So we'll see. Calvin Sampson's been around a long time, so he's in his first national championship game. Hey, did you see the Dream there last night?
I did.
Olajuwon?
I did.
Looking good.
He did look good. Oof. He could probably go out and drop 30, especially in this NBA. Crazy stat from this game, Oj.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Thanks to, we got to give our props to Jesse from Appleton for sending this one in.
He sends us in literally 2 minutes before I was printing the lesson plan. Had he been 2 minutes later, we would not have included this. So, thank you, Jesse.
So, yeah, for you basketball junkies here, this is something else. So Duke is the only team to have an NCAA tournament game with a higher field goal percentage, more free throw attempts, more assists, fewer turnovers, and more steals than their opponent, and yet still lose. That's since the steals became official at 86. Teams have been a combined 335-0 when doing all that in a tourney. That's something else.
Boy, if you would have put a couple bucks on that in your wagering yesterday, you'd be rich.
John, the Shire and those kids got to feel just awful because it was there for them, you know.
And Cooper Flag had a decent look right at the end.
They went up and contested, but that's a 12-foot shot, you know, dead on there. And
Christian Leitner would have made it.
Kneppel played well.
Yeah.
He needs more opportunities, though. You know, he kind of disappears for a while. It seems like he gets most of his stuff off of Flag's penetration or other guys, you know. But he drilled every shot that he was, you know, that he was open. He knocked him down last night. He played pretty well.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if Flag and Kneppel, if they're, I assume both of them are headed to the NBA.
Probably a good chance, yeah. So Monday night we'll have a national champion. Real quick pool-wise, I guess we got to talk about it first. I have to mention it because I'm in it. I mean, I'm right there.
You are?
With the dreaded Catman, the Tav.
Silver Fox.
The Silver Fox. Somehow he managed to wiggle his way into the final two of our draft pool. He's got Florida, I have Houston. So the winner of that is going to take that money. I'll be pulling for the Cougars Monday night.
So you have Houston?
Yes.
Will you bet on Florida to hedge your bet?
I'm sure he is. any free tokens that he gets, he's going to be putting on the other team, no doubt. I like Pete's attitude better. I'm going all in on Houston.
Yep. What about our pool? SS3TP bracket challenge. It looks like it's down to 2.
Yeah,
I quit paying attention when I was out of it, so. But it looks like it's
down to 2. I'm just getting confirmation on that right now. So if you look at that, it shows the percentage chances people have. You know,
right.
Obviously when things went down last night, a bunch of people that were up there with a chance dropped out. But so congratulations to all you guys that are finished on the first page anyway.
Yeah.
But we're down to 2, and our old buddy Christian Wilson managed to jump back up and get into the fight at the end. He's got Houston, and then Mr. CN, who I believe is a member of the Nelson family down there, the Kaskin Flagon Garrett from Fairfield.
So he's an heir to the throne then?
Yeah.
One of the heirs?
So he's, I believe that's Christopher, so he's got Florida, and going against Christian Wilson with Houston. So we're down to 2 after all that. And I don't know, what's your thoughts on the game, quick? Just initially here.
I mean, I'd love to see Houston win that, because
you got a problem with that coach. What the hell?
Well, it's not even that. Just Florida drives me nuts because they seem unorganized to me, and that drives me nuts, as you know. But I just like the way that Houston just grinds you, right? They just want to, they're the team that's in the power I, just pounding ice and power downhill every 9 plays in a row on you, right? They're not letting you off the ball, and I think it's going to be a good game. I don't see Houston blowing Florida out. I guess Florida could blow Houston out if that was.
Yeah, Houston. That's just not who Houston is, really.
No, they're going to muck it up, and they are going to make. And I think Florida's going to struggle with the physicality, and because Houston just is so relentless with it. And again, obviously, I think Florida's more talented, but I think Houston's gonna muck that one up as much as they possibly can.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have to. They're gonna want that game to be played at an absolute crawl.
Yeah.
And did you see? Have you checked the
I
spreads?
haven't looked at anything. I've been too busy developing new and creative lesson plans for the children.
Yeah, whatever. Florida is a 1-point favorite. They're at -1, over under at 141.5. I bet the under yesterday, and I just told you this. This is unbelievable. I was at a great Friday baseball betting. I had a great Saturday start to the day. I used one of those free tokens, the $5 free bet home runs. Spencer Torkelson, pow, hit that one.
Really?
Yeah. Had the Tigers. I had the over. I mean, I was right up to where I was going to cash out three figures again. And then the NCAA tournament happened last night. So now I've got some work to do today because everything I put down there in those games was wrong. And the under was one of the ones I thought, I was pretty confident in that, but I see now that was 136.5 for Houston and Duke. So we're up to 141.5 and over under that game. So something to keep an eye on.
Okay, and we'll have more to report next week. That game's obviously tomorrow night from our taping of the show. Got a little high school update for you, Oj. Negaunee has named a new head coach. I don't know if you saw that on the news. I actually chatted with this guy Friday night at our clinic. So Jeff Mimi is going to be the new head coach of the Negaunee Miners. He's been on staff there for quite some time, played there. So he looks, I'm sure the program is in good hands, and they'll kind of be, consistently do what Negaunee has done for the past 50 years. So congrats to him. And kind of a sad note, one of my real close friend with you as well, is calling it a career.
Official, huh?
Officially calling it a career from the coaching sidelines, and going to call it a career in the classroom as well. Anyone who knows me and you knows that Scott Erickson at Hurley is a very, very close friend of mine, and he is stepping away from coaching on the football sidelines and the classroom. 33 years of coaching the Hurley North Stars now. And so there's an opening there. It's still up in the air who's going to replace it, but it has been announced and posted. And Scotty was in town this weekend. Came in town, hung out here for a couple days with us, so we chatted about that. But he's had a hell of a ride.
Does he seem comfortable with the decision?
Yeah, he is. He is. I know he's struggled with it, which is natural. But he's in a good place. He's going to step away after 33 years of teaching and coaching.
Well, some people, and you're one of them also. It's just the 8-man is not the same game for you, And Scotty gave it a shot for a year, right?
Yep, 1 year they played it, and his son is graduating too.
Right. Yeah, so that's a big part of it. But yeah, what a career he had. Great dude. He's going to be fine. He does all kinds of stuff. He'll have four-wheelers going side by side.
Just bought a new side by side the other day. He said
probably making too many visits to the copper country.
Yeah, which I've encouraged. But yeah, again, I go back to when I started out as a coach, and I learned a lot from him. Him and I have done a lot of stuff coaching-wise together, schemed against some people here and there. But really happy for my close friend stepping away, and it'll be interesting to see who replaces him, right? Replacing a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah, good luck.
Yep. Speaking of Hall of Fame, Oj, they're selling tickets now. I know that we mentioned this a few weeks back, but UP Hall of Fame Class of 2025. Some pretty familiar names on there to us.
Yeah, those first four that you have listed, and of course at the bottom there, unofficial. But yeah, Jamie Angeli, Fire and River. I don't know him that well, know who he is, but that's a basketball name from that end of the UP or that area of the UP for sure for many years.
I think there was an Angeli that when Stebbs had to pinch hit for you when you were sick one time. I think Stebbs was coaching down against West Iron and held an Angeli to like 42 points or something one night.
Could be. I think, but this Jamie Angeli, we don't have the bios on these guys. I believe he did a lot of clinic speaking and stuff too. Like he would have his own camps and how that all came about. I'm not sure, but
coached professionally overseas. Was an assistant at UCLA.
There you go.
I think he was a coach at Norway High School too as well. But anybody who knows UP basketball, the name Jamie Angeli is going to come into play.
And staying right there in Iron River, and we talked about this guy, a while back. But Nick Baumgartner, West Iron County grad, and Olympic gold medalist.
He is, and in my garage.
Oh, that's right. The White Claw.
The White Claw can is still in the garage. Nick's awesome dude.
Is he still training?
Yep, he is.
Another Olympics,
I believe so. And then the next one on the list is somebody close to me, and you're going to know her as well, but Barb Sickler. She was a teacher coach in Lake Linden forever. Her husband Wayne Sickler is in the UP Hall of Fame. He recently passed. Barb was a teacher at school when I went through, started women's athletics at Lakeland and Hubble, and I am very pumped to see that she's going into the UP Hall of Fame. We got to get a hold of her too.
Have you seen her lately?
I saw her. I think I saw her last summer. I think they still have their place up in Eagle River, Regal Harbor, one of those.
Yep.
And I did see her. I did see she did get inducted into the Lakeland Hall of Fame a few years back, but she's someone that we should probably chat with as well, because she did a hell of a lot for girls sports in Lakeland, and very happy for her. And the fourth one that we're familiar with.
Yeah, I can't believe it took this long. But I guess he hasn't been out of coaching that long either. It's only been a few years.
5 years, yeah.
It's been that long? He's been out that long, right?
Well, George was coaching Ishpeming my last year that I was the head coach, so that would have been 2019-20.
Okay, so yeah, Jeff Olson, long-time Ishpeming high school football coach, had that run, what were those years? There, 3-4 year in a row?
Yeah, in the 2010s to 2000.
Won back-to-back titles. Yeah, the job that he did over there was outstanding, and still, he's going to go down in history as one of the best football coaches in the history of the UP, without a doubt.
Yeah, no question about it. Somebody I consider a good friend. I always try to catch up with him. Worked how many all-star games with him, and sat on his decks in the summer, and just a great person. Still out promoting to do it for Daniel and that foundation and what they do to help people. So he's been Hall of Fame for many, many years. There's some other names on there.
I'm not familiar with any of these other ones.
I remember the Folsick girl from Kearney NATO, Dave St. Ange.
There I am, yeah.
Yeah, as an official, and then there's the other ones that we're not as familiar with. But
how many years did Dave ref?
100. Yeah, he's better. I gotta be honest with you, I saw him at a basketball. He still looks the same.
Yeah, well, that's one of those guys that you add to the list of people that officiated high school games when we played.
Yeah.
And still going,
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of reffing, and we didn't talk, did you see the little thing on TV6 they had on Joe Redinger?
Oh, you know what? Like that little. I didn't see it. I saw the clip of it. I meant to go back and watch it. I'm gonna have to do that.
There was a hell of a picture of him and Beaver.
When they were younger. I did see that.
Oh Christ! Yeah, so they had. It wasn't long. A couple quick comments from Joe. About his career of officiating. Well, in baseball as well, or in softball.
Yeah, I think he's still umping softball.
Yeah, I think he's doing that for the rest of the year, but his basketball days are done. So, anyway.
Yeah, I got to hang out with him at the ski jumps.
Copper Country Sauna is the premier sauna builder in the Keweenaw, led by two brothers-in-law that share a passion for saunas and want to provide custom saunas to the Copper Country residents. When you are ready to throw some water on the rocks, visit our website at coppercountrysauna.com or give us a call at 906-281-9427.
Well, Oj, back by popular demand, we have Crouchy's Corner today, and we have an interview with a Ewen-Trout Creek flavor, to say the least.
Yeah, I would say basketball lifer family there. They Brad and Jacky have been going at it. The coaching ranks at ETC for a number of years now. We didn't even ask how long it's been, but it's been a while. But both of them growing up in the area. Brad was Trout Creek, Jacky's in Ewen, and a lot of success as players.
And people don't realize the animosity between those two towns, right?
And success as players, and then certainly coaching as well, but it's been the last few years here that's really put them at a little different level with that program, small school program, right?
Yeah, and we talked about it last week when we recapped the Ewen state championship game and mentioned it, we should try and set this up, and then right off the bat that same night, Brad's taking shots at us on Twitter, and we got it set up. So we sat down with these two, and pretty awesome story, right? Is there anybody in the history of Michigan high school sports? I don't know the answer. If someone does, let us know. A husband and a wife have both coached basketball teams to the state finals.
Yeah, it was kind of unique when they played St. Ignace, because the only other family or husband and wife duo that I ever thought about was the St. Ignace group, right? Doreen and Doug Ingalls. And yeah, these two now within a few years span. Jacky's girls just got beat in the state championship. a couple of weeks ago, and of course Brad had that run with his crew a few years before that. So yeah, we've been trying like heck to get them on.
Yeah.
Like you said, they must not realize how big we are.
This is true.
So we got them.
All right, so let's listen to what Brad Jacky Besonen shared with SS3TP. Located 8 miles south of Lake Linden on the Boojak Road, the Dreamland Restaurant's your choice for great dining. Family owned and operated for over 100 years. Whether you are in the mood for Mexican Monday specials, burgers, pizza, or Friday fish fry, Dreamland is your next stop. We have a couple of questions today, Oj. Not a lot in the mailbag, but your favorite relative whack job is back.
Are we even sure? I mean, it's I don't know. You keep saying that. I don't even. Are you sure?
I'm positive.
All right. So he says.
Because here's why. Because if it wasn't my family, they wouldn't go by whack jobs. We would just know they were whack jobs.
Well played. I agree with you guys that the NBA is effectively unwatchable, but only during the regular season. I'm excited for the playoffs, and I suspect that I will watch at least half of the games of my favorite teams, Warriors and Pistons. That's a little weird right there. How do you have two teams?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's like Jesse from Appleton, San Francisco Giants and the Cubs. Can't have two teams.
Is it fair to say he's a little bit of a whack job?
I suggest you give the NBA playoffs a chance. Thanks for letting me vent. So we were spot on last week. You're much cheaper than an actual therapist.
Yeah, but are we helping him?
Probably not. Although I will say this, and I have not had much fun watching the NBA this year. The Bucks have been annoying. And now Damian Lillard's out indefinitely with a blood clot in his calf.
Yeah.
So they're going into the playoffs probably somewhere in the 4, 5 to 6 range. But he is correct, and I've said this before. I've always been an NBA fan. I have, but it's just gotten tougher and tougher with the 3-point shooting to watch these games. The playoffs should be a blast, though. I think there'll be, other than the 1-8 matchups, I think there's going to be some great first round best of 5 series. So I will be watching. I look forward to it. The Pistons are a hell of a story.
They are.
I mean, that coach, if he's not coach of the year, it should be given to him now.
Might as well.
From worst to the playoffs, Cade Cunningham just coming back for them. I saw he played last night. They got beat, but that's a hell of a story, and I'll watch. No doubt about it.
I won't.
Will you watch the Eastern Conference, Western Conference Finals?
Oh, it depends.
You get Cleveland and Celtics at 1-2 against whoever the hell the West has.
It's all going to be dependent on what I got going on. If there's nothing else going on, I'll probably flip it on, but I'm not going to revolve my schedule around that stuff.
All right.
Okay. Jesse from Appleton, huge Shane Burkhardt fan. Do you think the NIL has killed Cinderella? What is worse to hear someone talk about? How they played a shot on a hole on a golf course you could care less about, or a hunting fishing story? NIL killing Cinderella?
I'm not ready to go there yet because last year we had all kinds of screwiness in the tournament like we hope to have. This year we just happen to have 4 number 1s, so I think you need a little more, a few more years of this before we start, yelling about the NIL, because I know that's what everybody thought this year, right? When we get the 4 number 1s in there, and that's the way it's going to be now. We'll never see a 3 seed in the Final Four ever again. So I want to give it a little more time before I make that call. What's your thoughts on it?
I'm not going to overreact. I'm just like you. Let's not overreact. The 4 teams in the Final Four were good. They were deserving of it.
And Houston's roster was pretty much. They got a couple guys. I think one from Oklahoma, maybe Baylor, one of those guards. But Houston's roster is pretty much intact. From these guys have come up through Calvin Sampson. I don't know much about the other ones, but So you can sense his little frustration, and he's got some issues with this. I know.
Yeah, but let's give it another year or two, and before we fly off the handle.
So then the second part of that question, well, he doesn't do either. So he can't possibly sit with a couple of guys at the bar and enjoy a conversation about 2 things he doesn't even do. I've never seen this person with a golf club in his hand. Not that I go out golfing all the time, but I don't mind listening to some good golfers discuss, how they played a birdie hole on number 7 or whatever.
They faded it in right to left. took a care of them off. They played it off the berm and it rolled up there.
Yep, exactly. And then 2 putted for a birdie on a par 5. That sounds smart.
Yeah, you're locked in. Yeah, I think you're ready for the Masters.
That's next weekend. Hey, let's have about a 15-minute talk on the Masters next Sunday.
Is there tennis on right now too?
Can we? Oh, well, that pissed people off. And then we'll finish it with a little bit of track indoor.
Oh yeah. We got the track season starting.
And hunting or fishing stories. Yeah, he wouldn't have any idea. I don't even think he could put a shotgun shell on a 12 gauge. I don't think he could. So those things mean nothing to him. He has no clue. But he apparently spent some time with a few people last week that discussed some hunting and golf stories.
I don't have a problem with any of that, to be honest with you. I mean, you know, like deer camp, like you go to deer camp. I don't even deer hunt, but I like the season. I like to hear people, hey, anyone out to camp, get a buck, and they tell you about it. You know, I go fishing a couple times a year with my buddy Clint, and you know, so I don't know. I do play golf. I'm horrible at it, so you're never gonna hear a good shot story from me. But
Jesse must have been in a mood when he put this down, eh?
Yeah, probably blowing out the driveway, the garage.
All right, number 3.
You got this. I don't even understand this one.
Does the media take Jokic for granted? If LeBron or Steph dropped 61, 10, and 10, the world would stop. That's just another night for Jokic. That is one hell of a game he had.
Yeah.
He is. There's been the Larry Bird comparisons. It's hard to argue it offensively, other than I think Bird is a better, 20-foot out shooter, I would say. But I mean, you got to give him credit for putting up the points that he does and how he does it. God dang, he's impressive. But that is a night, 61, 10, and 10. And he's probably right a little bit, because when you see Curry toss in 50 like he did a night or two later, that just seems like that's out there more. By the way, Giannis had a night 2 games after that, 35, 17 boards and 20 assists. You see that?
20 assists?
Giannis had 20 assists.
Yeah, so, I got nothing. I never heard anything about that. That's impressive.
Yeah, damn right. So he should be talked about a little more himself. Plus he won a title. Well, Jokic did too, but I'm a Jokic fan. I'll watch Denver when I can. I am. I'm not going to say that he's better than Larry Bird yet, but I kind of agree with him. LeBron, I can't choke much more to him down. So they've actually, Lakers had a little bit of a skid, I know. Tailspin there with Luka. Luka had a rotten night the other night, and they got beat by Golden State, I believe. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. Anyway, I somewhat agree with Normal Matthew there. So.
Yeah, and I'll flip on Denver, but I ain't watching anything of them. I'm just gonna scan the crowd to see if we see Stevie Short there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so that's gonna wrap up the mailbag today, Oj, and it's time for the Blue Notebook portion here.
Listen to the Lyrics is brought to you by Ewen-Trout Auto Body, located on Pine Street in Calumet. Quality collision and body repair since 1966. Stop by anytime, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, for a free estimate, or give them a call at 906-337-1203. All right.
How do you feel about reading the ad before the description? Are you comfortable with that? You like that better?
Yep. I would hate to have some people that, for some odd reason, shut this show off before they get to this, and they never get to hear that. Like Bootstrap Bill, he's probably never heard that Cuban Auto Body ad. You know?
Good chance.
So, anyway. So when a song starts and those first few words come out, some just grab you instantly. Right away you can relate to it, or the vocals draw you in, or whatever it is, but some songs just have those effects. For me, one of them will always remind me, one of these songs will always remind me as a kid, just walking down my gravel driveway from my grandparents' house to mine. Never paid attention to the rest of the song, but the start of it, I did it 1,000 times. So Dewey Bunnell wrote it and sang lead vocals for the band America. Bunnell said growing up in Nebraska, he was always thinking and having images of himself one day living in California. The line in the song, "How long you gonna stay here, Joe," is basically him talking to himself with a go west young man attitude. So, one more thing, Crouchy. Alligator lizards are shapes in the clouds that were made one afternoon while he was standing on Ventura Highway, watching his dad change the tire. Anyway, have at it, Crouchy.
Well, that's 98 in the books, Oj. Another successful episode to keep our tens of fans coming back for more. We're approaching 100 episodes. We really don't have a big plan for anything. If anyone has some ideas, things like that, shoot them your way. We'll probably shoot them down, but we're getting to that as you call it, triple digits.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll probably around that time we're going to actually make some programming changes, make a couple of tweaks to this pod. We'll touch on after episode 100, but it's going to be
Make some cuts to our staff.
yeah. Well, we don't have a budget to expand. Well, not a lot going on here. We'll have the Final Four here Monday night. You know, baseball's still starting up a little bit. I guess we got the NFL draft coming, which will create some excitement. But
we do have some interviews coming up. We'll have another one next week with throw a little teaser out there with local successful girls basketball coach in season. So we'll have a little interview for you next week. But we are going to drop to every other week for the most part with these. Not next week, but after that. So unless the Brewers get hot, then I want to be on here every Sunday.
we do it, or maybe in the summertime when we're off, we could do one every day.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
All right, see you, Oj.
Talk to you later, Coachy.